Well, again, I have to premise my answer with I'm no longer the spokesperson of the Vice President. So napakahirap naman na maglagay ng salita, no? Mag-interpret ng kanyang mga sinasabi. But at least based on our conversations, nakikita naman natin, yun naman talagang posisyon natin when you evaluate these impeachment complaints. The evaluation must solely remain with the complaints and the pieces of evidence attached. Diba? Ngayon, if you will go beyond the evidence attached and start asking for documents left and right, when our first argument nga, kung matatandaan nyo, is wala man lang ultimate facts yung complaints. No? And then yung mga naka-attach na ebidensya, wala rin naman doon na nagsasabing o nagpapatunay na may krimen na kaagad na nangyari. And so if you go beyond that, that is what we're saying na fishing expedition. No? Malamang yun na rin ang pinaparating ng ating Vice Presidente. Pangalawa, katulad ng mga issue na nilabas sa kanyang salip. Doon sa desisyon ng Supreme Court sa Duterte versus House of Representatives, malinaw na nakasaad doon na ang impeachable offense ay yung mga offense na allegedly na-commit ng impeachable official within his or her term. At malinaw naman doon sa pinakita na karamihan doon sa hininging documents ay not within his or her, within the term of the Vice President in this case. So, marahil doon nanggagaling ang ating Vice Presidente.
I think I've made this clear, and I also, again, say that if the objection of the respondent goes into the matter of jurisdiction, meaning does the committee have any power or authority to conduct a mini trial or whatever it is that they will call it, including the examination and cross-examination of witnesses, issuance of compulsory processes for the introduction, reception, and examination of evidence. Our position has been made clear in the letter. That authority and all the incidents of that authority should only be exercised by the Senate. Because why? Again, we go back under Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 6. It's only the Senate that can conduct trial, that can examine witnesses, that can cross-examine witnesses, that can issue subpoena for the production of evidence. In fact, if someone here earlier asked, this is akin to a preliminary investigation, you know, under the current rules of preliminary investigation and inquest proceedings, even the matter of deciding or resolving the complaint is only limited to the complaint and the counter affidavits of the respondent and other affidavits and the evidence at hand. Nothing beyond evidence at hand. And let me clarify this because it might be that the idea that just because a respondent did not appear and sent a letter through lawyers stating the reasons for non-appearance, which raises issues on jurisdiction, it doesn't mean that she or us or we are just raising technical issues. Because I think every lawyer knows that the matter of jurisdiction is always substantive. Cannot even be waived, cannot even be, you know, a subject of any agreement. Once a body, once a tribunal acts beyond the powers vested in it by the Constitution, that cannot be allowed.
Number one, hindi ko po sinabing may plano. Ang sinasabi ko lang po is, of course, there's always possibility. Alam nyo, maraming nagfe-frame the past few weeks. Sinasabi, aakyat yung mga yan sa Supreme Court. As if it's a wrong thing, no? Our job as lawyers is to protect the client and the rights of the client, no, against harassment and all of these kinds of things. And sa ngayon, ang sinasabi namin is that is always a possibility. Especially since, ulitin ko lang yung sinabi ni Atty. Sheila, our objection to the proceedings is fundamental. No? Hindi to mere technicality. We are saying na ang sinasagawa ngayon ng committee, at least sa aming pananaw at sa aming posisyon, is labas na sa kapangyarihan nila dahil yung trial, mini-trial, full-blown trial is really vested upon the Senate. Ngayon, pagdating sa susunod na hearings, hindi muna kami magkokomento, ma'am, tungkol dyan. Dahil syempre, we are monitoring the developments as they come. And as lawyers, although of course, we are ready to anticipate anything and everything that comes, we are also not inclined to telegraph what we plan to do. Thank you.
Again, I think our letter is clear. We cannot participate in a proceeding that we think is unconstitutional. We cannot have the Vice President appear before a body exercising a power or authority that is vested by the Constitution in another tribunal. If you notice from the letter that we sent on March 24, 22, the penultimate paragraph of that is pretty clear that considering that the requests, motions, or similar efforts aimed at obtaining evidence through processes that necessarily presuppose lawful authority, then, which in this case we believe is absent, then we cannot participate in the proceedings. This is not even something new. This is something that every lawyer questioning the jurisdiction of the court on behalf of his or her client. Let me baka ma-misconstrue eh. What we are not recognizing is the authority or power to conduct mini-trial. Now, with respect to the power of the House of Representatives to initiate impeachment proceedings, that's stated in the Constitution, we recognize that. Again, what we do not recognize is the authority to conduct any form of trial. We can't tell you yet what will happen in the next weeks until the committee has concluded its proceedings, because as you know, the committee has just finished the hearing this afternoon, and we have yet also to receive any invitation or notice for the next hearing. But what I can tell you is that every step that we will take from here on is deliberate. And those steps would be primarily to protect the interests of our client. No, I think that's also clear from the letter. In fact, it's explicit in the letter. Let me read again. As timely stated in the appearance and consolidated answer, both made ad cautelam, the respondent does not waive any jurisdictional or other objections she has to these proceedings, nor her right to seek appropriate legal remedies. I think that's quite clear. What is it that they're asking? That is the respondent giving her right? And of course not. No, definitely not. I think, again, the letter is clear, and our position from the start, starting from the appearance ad cautelam and the consolidated verified answer ad cautelam, up to this point when we sent the letter, is clear. The Vice President's not waiving any of her rights. Now, if you're asking me, is she waiving her right to present evidence? Definitely, or participation in the proceedings, she will participate before the proper forum, before the body that has jurisdiction to try the case against her. Yes, because again, we just have to read the Constitution. The Constitution says, Section 3, Paragraph 6, Article 11, that it is the Senate that shall have the sole power to try and decide on cases of impeachment.
Well, to us, really, we're questioning the proceedings themselves. No? So I don't want to try to describe it, sound ako sa isang description. No? But really, to us, all these things go beyond the powers of initiating an impeachment complaint. And that is why we have already stated on the record our fundamental objection to the proceedings that are being conducted at the moment. Well, for us, ma'am, again, our position is that yung mini-trial na salita, hindi sa amin ang galing. Yan ay galing sa ibang tao. Again, I'd like to reiterate our position. Kung ang evaluation lang na dapat gawin dito ay kung ito ay dadalhin, i-recommend, no? Na dadalhin sa plenaryo, kakaroon ng articles of impeachment that will be transmitted to the Senate, dapat ang gagawin dito, ang evaluation na gagawin dito ay limited lamang doon sa mga complaints at doon sa mga naka-attach sa complaints. Kasi doon mo malalaman kung may basihan ba talaga, kung meron ba talagang impeachable offense laban sa ating Vice Presidente. Well, I agree with Representative Diokno na yun nga naman talagang nakasulat sa Constitution, no? That the power to initiate belongs to the House and the power to try impeachment cases belong to the Senate, hindi ba? And yun nga ang nagiging debate dito dahil sa aming pananaw, lumalampas na po sa initiation ang nangyari at kung magkakaroon man ng any trial type proceeding, that should be had before the Senate impeachment, sitting as an impeachment court at hindi po sa Committee on Justice. At this point, we are considering all remedies, pero ayoko pong sabihan na isasampahan ng kaso or whatnot. We're not in the business of trying to, threaten people with cases. Sa amin lang po, ang trabaho lang po ng mga abogado ng Vice Presidente is to protect her rights and interests. So, titingnan lang po natin kung anong mga remedy base doon sa aming fundamental objection on the constitutionality of the proceedings that are being conducted. Well, first and foremost, there is no law requiring the respondent to attend the hearings or the proceedings before the Committee on Justice. I think that is clear. Hindi naman dapat natin pagdebatihan yan. In fact, the Constitution is clear also, diba, na if you read the Constitution, wala namang nakasaad doon na talagang requiring the Vice President to attend. It's not the first time. Sa ibang impeachment proceedings, hindi din naman nag-attend yung high official na ini-impeach. So I don't know where this is coming from. But of course, we would like to state for the record also that we respect the opinions of lawmakers, of our congressmen, whether it's against us or for us. And diba? Sui generis, it's legal and political. So, no doubt, it's politically charged and everyone will have their opinions and we have to respect everyone's opinion. But as far as we're concerned, the position is there's no rule requiring the Vice President to be present in this proceeding. Ako na muna siguro, no? Sa akin, siguro nagpapasalamat kayo sa mga kababayan natin na patuloy na sumusuporta sa Presidente. Nasabi ko nga kanina, highly divisive and politically charged matter. So, lang na may pagkakaiba ng mga opinion, may mga debate. For the defense team, we are here without any intention to debate with anyone. No, we are here to just lay down our position, but at the same time, we would like to state again that we respect the opinions of even those whose positions are adverse to ours. Siguro ang gusto ko lang linawin is parati kasing nasasabi na hindi sumasagot ang ating Vice Presidente. Hindi po totoo yun. In fact, as early as last year, doon pa lang sa first round of impeachment, nasabi na ng ating Vice Presidente na handa siyang sumagot sa harap ng tamang forum. Lahat ng itong mga aligasyon na binabato sa kanya. That is also included in the letter that we submitted yesterday. At siguro ang pinaka-importante, let's not blur our legal system, diba? Ayon sa legal system natin, the burden of proof is actually on the accusers. Doon sa mga nag-a-allege na may ginawa siyang impeachable offense, the burden of proof lies with them. No? Dapat pakita muna nila na matibay ang kanilang mga ebidensya. And again, the evaluation should be limited to the complaints that they submitted, their allegations in those complaints, and the pieces of evidence attached to those complaints. So again, hindi sumasagot ang Vice Presidente. Handa po sumagot ang Vice Presidente at handa po ang defense team na ipagtanggol ang Vice Presidente sa harap ng tamang forum para dito.
Thinks it's the same thing. We appreciate the role that the media has in terms of providing our public with good information. By good information, I mean something that is not only plucked from the mouth of the person, but something that invites some meaningful discussion about the issues, about the processes, about what we could expect moving forward as a nation. But my main message would probably be something that I would borrow from the case of Francisco Gutierrez, because I think it encapsulates everything that we need to know in respect of the protection and respect for an individual's rights. In that case, the Supreme Court said that the respondent, just because former Chief Justice Davide is the Chief Justice, does not imply that he gets to have less in law than anyone else. And the reason is very simple. It's because the Constitution and the law are mindful of every individual's rights, regardless of his or her station in life.
Ma'am, as you know me, I really want to give due respect to our lawmakers. So whatever happened in the proceedings earlier, I think that is within their wisdom. I don't really want to criticize anything or anyone for those proceedings earlier. Ang sa amin lang, that is within the wisdom of the Committee of Justice. Pero sa amin, that doesn't also preclude us from dealing of remedies kung sa tingin namin meron ng paglabag sa ligang batas sa mga pangyayari. And that is in line again with our duty to protect our client, who's the Vice President. Hindi naman sikreto yan dahil actually, di ba, pati yung appearance ko na-question na rin. And again, I have to say, I respect the lawmakers who brought that up. I think it's within their prerogative to raise whatever concerns they have in relation to my appearance. Pero nasabi ko na rin, na the past few weeks, sabi naman talaga nila that there will be subpoenas issued. Ngayon, yung pagdating naman sa akin, humarap naman ako sa Committee on Good Government. Abogado na rin ako ng Vice Presidente ng mga panahon na yon. At hindi naman ako nag-invoke ng attorney-client because all I can really testify to is kung ano yung totoo na participation ko sa kung ano mang sa dung stint ko nung ako'y nasa DepEd. So I never really saw any conflict with that. But again, if there are subpoenas, these are things that the defense team will have to discuss. We'll have to look at the subpoenas. And ako naman sa sarili ko, I have no problems complying with it. But I have to state that the fundamental objection here is not just the issuance of subpoenas. No? The fundamental objection rather that we are raising here. So the proceedings themselves, and even, nasabi nga ni Atty. Sheila, on the ancillary process that come out of those proceedings. But I will go there as a resource person, witness whatever they want to qualify or characterize it as such, and I will answer questions as the best way I know how based on my personal knowledge. I will not comment on that, pero kung ang tatanungin naman sa akin ay kung yung anong natanong na rin sa akin sa good government, kasi that was very exhaustive. In fact, not only myself, even Attorney Monsayak was there also. We attended every hearing. We answered all the questions directed to us, and not once did I invoke the attorney-client privilege. Because ang masasagot ko lang naman kung ano yung nasa personal knowledge ko po. Hindi naman ako pwede mag-fabricate beyond that. Sa akin, that is something that is between actually the court, the Committee of Justice and the court that has jurisdiction over the case of Ramil Madriaga. Again, that goes into yung mga processes na kasi na to, kakibat siya nung mismong proseso na kina-question namin. But as to the safety of Mr. Madriaga, Hindi kami yung may hawak ng kaso kasi na perjury laban kay Mr. Madriaga, no? Pero as to the safety, gusto naman namin mag-testify siya eh. 'Di ba? Kasi paano natin pabubulaanan yung mga sinasabi niya kung hindi natin siya papatestify, di ba? Doon lang yung forum. But again, at the proper forum. So, kung siya man ay magte-testify, kung mapunta man tayo sa Senate at assuming that there are no constitutional infirmities, at napunta tayo doon sa Senate for the hearing, maybe that's the proper time for us to test his credibility.
Definitely not. I think if you listened earlier, I've stated clearly that since the objection challenge to the proceeding goes in jurisdiction, then what the defense is basically saying is that we are prepared, or the respondent is prepared to meet the accusations against her, but before the proper forum, before the body that is vested by the authority or power to conduct trial under the Constitution. And if you take a look at the Constitution, the only body that can conduct trial in impeachment cases is the Senate. So, if you're asking, is there any contradiction between us submitting this letter or Attorney Poa attending Attorney Poa's decision to attend the hearing stated, or the schedule of the hearing stated in the whatever subpoena that he will receive in the forthcoming days. Is there any contradiction? I don't think so. Because it's clear, how can you participate in a proceeding where you are precisely questioning the authority of the body conducting the proceeding? There's no contradiction. If the Vice President will be asked to present her evidence or to examine or cross-examine the witnesses that the complainants will produce, then that has to come at a time when the matter is already before the impeachment court. And at this point, what the Vice President is saying is that, and the defense team are saying, is that she does not waive the right to any challenge, objections, or any of her constitutional rights that even the Supreme Court had said in the recent resolution in the Duterte ruling is effective all throughout the entire impeachment process. The Bill of Rights applies to the entire impeachment process. That's clear. It's not something that, I'm just taking off the top of my head. It's something that is in the decision.
I don't want to speculate kung ano yung itatanong nila sa akin. Again, it would be inappropriate and unfair naman sa ating mga lawmakers and members of the committee to speculate na ganun ang gagawin nila. Ang sa akin naman, kung ang itatanong nila ay factual, sasagutin lang naman tayo ng factual. The Vice President is of course in the Philippines. I'm not at liberty to disclose kung nasaan siya, as you know, for security reasons, but she always has daily engagements naman. Pagdating naman sa briefing, there's always a regular briefing between the Vice President and her defense counsels. And definitely, lahat naman ng next steps ay pag-uusapan namin. But again, as I've always mentioned, matagal nang nabuo ang defense team. So, a lot of these things don't come as a surprise to us anymore. We're ready. In fact, kung may mga statements nga sinasabi, overwhelming yung evidence. So, kung ganon, expect that, iakyat na nila sa Senate so we can have a proper trial at para mapakita na natin at talagang walang basehan ang mga impeachment, itong impeachment complaints laban sa kanila. No, we're not saying anything to that effect. As I said kanina, lahat ng legal remedies ay na-explore at ready kami. Actually, alam naman namin lahat ng legal remedies are available. So, titingnan lang natin, depending on the developments, kung ano yung pinakamagandang gawin para maprotektahan talaga natin ng rights ng ating Vice Presidente. Pero, kung ito'y aakyat sa Senate, ay handang-handa po kami. We've been ready since last year. Actually, hindi pa lahat. But again, I have to clear that up. Napag-usapan din namin ni Attorney Sheila to we can also add on to what I'm about to say. But I have to give that some context. Kasi parating lumalabas, ang dami-daming abogado ng Vice Presidente, di ba? 16 lawyers, etc., etc. Alam nyo, ito sa defense team, ito sa collaboration between Fortuna Salazar, which is a law firm, And myself and Attorney Reynold Monsaya, Mark Vinluan, Attorney Bodota, and also Attorney Batong Bakal. So, yun talaga yon. Kaya ang dami, because it's a law firm, and that's not uncommon. Even in the small law firm that I have, when we have cases no, for clients, hindi naman isang tao naka-assign dun sa case na yun. Especially at a case as complex as this. Natural lang na sa isang team, marami talagang naka-assign. So, para lang tayo na hindi yung parang 16 lawyers pa, ang dami-daming abogado. But it's really for 200,000, which I have to say is taking the lead no here, and they're collaborating with us. So, yan po ang nangyari dito. Ilan baka Attorney would like to add on to that?
Just a short note. So, tama yung sinabi ni Mike, no? Yung balita na may 16 na abogado, si Vice Presidente. Ang sa totoo lang, the Vice President has our firm as one of her counsel, and the 5 collaborating counsel. No? Si Attorney Poa, Attorney Bintuan, Attorney Monsayak, Attorney Ralph, and if we will count us, no, including our collaborating counsel, ilan lang tayo? 6. Now, the fact that there were the other members of the defense team also signed the pleadings, does that mean that, separate engagement? In fact, I think maski yung ating mga kasamahan maaari sa media or publiko na mga abogado rin maintindihan nila na kapag ang isang tao ay in-engage niya, no, yung isang firm, law firm, ibig sabihin yung buong law firm na yun ay kanyang abogado. It doesn't matter, hindi yun, bilangan ng ilan ba ang abogado dyan sa opisina na yan. Ibig sabihin, kung sabihin natin, ang isang opisina ay may 100 mahigit na abogado, at let's just assume that each one of those lawyers will sign the pleadings, hindi naman siguro tama na sabihin na, ang dami-dami abogado na ngayon, sa yung size ng aming team, kailangan din sapagkat katulad ng sinabi ni Mike, yung ganitong kaso ay kailangang paghandaan ng maigi at kailangang magtulungan yung mga miyembro ng defense.
Siguro briefly lang. Again, gusto lang namin magpasalamat sa ating mga kaibigan sa media for your patience. Lalong-lalo na pag minsan hindi kami nakakasagot kaagad. Pasensya na po kayo no, kung may ganung mga pagkakataon. At hopefully po, hindi kayo magsawa na pumunta kung meron kami ganitong mga paanyaya dahil kailangan din naming maklaro hindi lang sa legal community but sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan kung ano nangyari sa mga proseso na to. So maraming salamat po sa inyo.